How's everybody doing? Oh, I added this? Okay, alright. I guess we can see that too. How is everybody doing? This is Mr. Hardcore Mode, where nothing is easy. Warriors and witches, how y'all doing? And God bless. We are here to talk about IGN, because I actually have a neat theory to talk about. We're here to talk about, oh my gosh, I forgot. We also are here to talk about Tim Cain. I need to add that. Add that in the list. Oh my god, I forgot. Add that stuff that we need to talk about. But yes, we're here to talk about Tim Cain, and we're here to talk about the Remedy news. Also, we're gonna watch some trailers, and also we got some news on the new Witcher expansion. Talk about that last. They hydrated, my friend, and not with soda. I'm trying to back away from soda. I actually got half the amount of soda this time, which is good because you want to be able to get half the amount of soda. Like, if you're solely like, oh my god, I would like some soda, try to push yourself away by half, and then after that push your way by half of a half, you know what I mean? To where it's just like, because you want to get away from all those, you know, sugars, like too much sugars, like way too much, especially bad for your teeth. But I'm trying to push away from that. Got water, I got juice. I'm trying my best. But yeah, water does the body good, of course. We do have some trailers, and some good trailers, by the way. We're gonna touch up on that here in just a minute. Where is Grums with his game? I'm waiting on Grums with his game. Where is his game? Holy shit. Valve has raised Steam Deck prices in the US from, oh my gosh, $649 to $949. Well, that's gone. And it's gone. Not gone like everybody sold them all, but like they're gonna be out of stock all the time. And you know what they're gonna do? They're going to buy it and then they're gonna resell it on eBay. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. To Texas A&M, a professor who kicked a girl out of class for having a religious objection to transgender rhetoric has been fired per government. Yeah, good riddance. Good fucking riddance. But yes, I don't think Grum's game will happen. I don't think so either, bro. I honestly don't think it'll happen. That game is taking almost longer than Star Citizen. At least Star Citizen has a game, okay? Not only that, they have 2 games, which I'm kind of pissed about, to be honest. You know what I mean? Where it's just like you're waiting for Star Citizen, and you're like, is it done yet? Not only are we not done with Star Citizen, we were busy making a second game. And I'm like, nigga, are we serious? And I will admit, the game does look fun. I'm pretty sure the game has a lot to offer, but even though, I'll put it this way. Star Citizen looks more fun than fucking Starfield. That's for sure. That is for sure. You could do a lot more with Star Citizen than the other one. Up our early stream today, I see. Oh yeah, absolutely. My eyes so slanted. What am I, fucking Chinese? Shout out to all the Asians in chat. But Armored Snake's not here today. But yes, we're gonna talk about some games, but let's first look at some games. I saw First Light 007. That's not 007. It's got some Sleeping Dogs vibes to it, the way you grapple people in that game, but the story is lackluster. It's obviously a woke game because they're race changing and they're also sex changing certain characters, obviously, and they don't want to touch too much up on 007 fucking like you know, being a what's it called, a womanizer. They said that themselves. They said they don't want to do it, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's just a regular guy. Okay, so it's not a 007 game. Got it. And I was like, you know what? Cool. Mr. H is Black and Eve. What up, Tekla? First soy. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and start off. If the music's too loud and it's over me, let me know. But we're gonna turn it off right now. Being a man? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's one of those most manly characters of all time, next to like Batman, Kratos. Kratos doesn't even feel like a man anymore. They're just throwing him around until they replace him with the wife. But anyway, let's go ahead and watch the first trailer, Mount Blade Banner Lord War Sales. And I'll be honest, I'm actually kind of intrigued about this game. I might buy it. Actually, do you want to do it on here? And I also forgot to add you guys in the picture. I haven't done it in a while. I'm pretty sure some of you are probably going to say, like, you don't do the thing anymore. Or maybe you haven't noticed. Possible you haven't noticed. Yeah, probably. There we go. Put that right there. Okay, we can put it right here. All right, let's go ahead and play the video. We'll put it by half. Love the shields. So there's going to be ship combat. Not the best graphics, but definitely a beautiful game. Damn. If you prefer the big screen, let me know. War sales, cool. And it's not just tied to just Vikings. It's also tied to anybody else trying to make ships, not just Viking ships. But there's a lot more. That looks good. Let me see how much Banner Lord is right now. Oh my god. The expansion is $25. Oh shit, the Banner Saga? Is it the full complete saga? No, it's not. You gotta buy the rest. I love that game too. Oh my god, okay, alright. I will first put Banner Lord on the wish list. And I also want Banner Saga on the list as well. Because both games are fucking... I only played like half of Banner Saga. Already the story and the choices and the beautiful artistic style was like right up my fucking alley. But I just didn't finish it, and I want to finish it. It's the style that I like. And I like how brutal your choices can be, where I don't know if this is going to be like a spoiler or anything, but there's a choice where you can either bring your daughter into the fight. She's an archer, and it's low magic, high realism medieval combat, and it's definitely turn-based and stuff like that, but the choices that you make are so fucking realistic, where I'm just like, Dad, let me join the fight. And then I was like, all right, daughter, I'll bring you into the fight. And I'm thinking over here just like, there's no way they're gonna kill this kid. They fucking killed that kid. I was over here just like, oh, they'll do it. And I think I pretty much stopped there because I was doing something else. But I was over here thinking like maybe I can have her with me so I could protect her or something like that. Or I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking to myself, I was just like, well, as long as she's near me, I can take care of her. And the cutscene did not say that. Nope, they did not. Okay. Next one, let's keep on going. This one's called War Fantasy.
At this base, you belong to me. You follow my orders. Insubordination will not be tolerated. I want a body count, and you're gonna give it to me.
Dinner's ready.
You're gonna run this drill until you get it right.
I don't care about the subject matter. I care about user engagement and retention.
Damn.
The modern battle space demands a new form of training.
How have you never heard of War Fantasy?
If you disobey me again, I will eat the skin off of your face. Now pick up the rifle and go again.
The Pentagon is threatening to pull funding if we don't change the story.
What did your game teach my son?
The enemy is whoever I say it is.
This company is not liable for the actions of our customers.
It's just you and me in here.
You can't shoot your way out of this.
They make games like War and War like a game. They make games like War and War like a game. They make games like War and War like a game.
You know it's just harmless entertainment, right?
When this is over, you'll thank me.
This is like, if you're a veteran and you have PTSD, this is like, yeah, it's like Stanley Parable, and it's like, I like the fact that the game is not only like trying to teach you that like it's a really interesting game, first of all. Also, the gunplay with the gun was really well fucking done. I'm surprised that this is like you know, it's not like a, I wouldn't say it's a war bad game. I would say that it's definitely an indoctrination bad sort of game, because in all likelihood, there's no fighting it. There's always going to be conflict within the world. There's always going to be conflict. But when it comes to indoctrination and like treating your soldiers like, you know, complete jarheads, that's a real thing. That's a complete real thing. And of course, there's always going to be people that want to protect their home, but there are some like some rigorous training out there, and I think it seems like it touches on like I think the summary of the game might be like the game is actually a tool meant to like, you know, teach the children to become like war heroes or something like that. Like, I don't think, like, I like how it says at the end, like, you know, it's just a game, right? I don't think it's one of those things where it's just like, oh, see, all games are bad, right? I think it's pointing towards like a bigger lesson into like, don't let, you know, don't let war and your government dictate how you want to do things. If you want to pull out, you can't handle it, pull it out. And I've seen a lot of people like pull out of that whole thing, or they're just like, yeah, this is not for me, I'm leaving. I've seen that. But this is giving like a a deep meaning of just like, oh, there's nothing you can do. You're going to be my fucking puppet. This was just an IDF training video. Don't worry about it. Shut the fuck up. It's a brainwashy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That was a good one though. I think there is something to that game to where if you don't want me to you know what I mean? If they're trying to pull me away from like war, okay. But if you're gonna pull me away from guns, it's not working. That's a pretty nice assault rifle, okay? That's a nice carbine. That's a good weapon for home defense. You're not helping, okay? It's like, we're gonna teach you to kill and you're gonna be my puppet. And I'm like, I don't want to be a puppet to I don't want to be part of the war machine. And then you see the expensive equipment and the fucking guns and the bells and whistles, and you're like, wait a minute, what if I like this? Now, of course, in real life, your first kill, it's gonna be pretty fucking brutal, you know, all that sort of stuff. But I do like the premise. Like, I like the premise on both sides. Like, since I'm right leaning, I like to dive in this sort of like psychological stuff with like war and stuff like that and indoctrination, but I also like to dive in the whole, I'm waiting for it's not gonna happen anytime soon, but maybe it will, where they'll touch up on transitioning and that whole indoctrination and grooming. I mean, why not? Why not? I would love a video game like that. I'd play that day one. All right, let's go.
I've seen things.
No Man's Sky.
A few things before.
I've seen things
The sun and moon
you
behind.
wouldn't believe.
Galaxies waiting to be found.
Oh, aliens.
Planets rich in resources.
What kind of gun is that?
Battles to be fought. Treasures unknown.
Like, I love this game, but it's like hard to have the hots, the what's it called? The flight sticks. It's hard to get the flight sticks and the keyboard in one play session where I can walk around with, you know, the mouse and keyboard, and then when I'm inside my vehicle, I could change to my flight stick. Maybe I need to figure something out, but I just go full keyboard.
The universe you wouldn't believe.
By the way, this was the game that cured my megalophobia. I don't know if you guys know this, but I do have megalophobia, where I'm just like, you want me to ride my whole entire ship in a fucking planet? No, I'm gonna hit the planet. And this was the game that like taught me like not to be afraid of that. Like, if I was up against this like years ago, I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna go up against, I'm just not, it's too huge. I'm not gonna go up against it. Oh, not only No Man's Sky, but Everspace 2. Everspace 2 and No Man's Sky are the two games that cured my megalophobia. What's up, Kage? Not bad. I'm gonna go back to No Man's Sky, but not right now. I got too many games that I'm finishing up. Yeah, good games, good games. Good games all around. Appreciate you guys being here. I was having a conversation up on the internets. Yeah, I was having a conversation up on the internets, and I think I'm the only black person here, but I always talk to people on Twitter about the fact that like they need to like I think black people, like I was talking about like film and movies and stuff, and how black people take the black actors take the white roles all the fucking time, and how the black roles are always taken by the black people. You know what I mean? Black Panther played by a black person. Obviously they're gonna do that, but over the course of 10 plus years, maybe even more than that, they have been, you know, race swapping a lot of characters, and a lot of people are just like, what are you talking about? And I'm trying to neatly explain to them that, like, they will change other characters. They'll change the white characters in film to like any sort of race, but they won't change like the black characters. They just won't. For instance, let me give you an example. Why is it that every slavery movie is just on point every fucking time? I'm looking for like one pale white dude in the cornfields, in the fucking cotton fields. Never. Fucking never. I'm looking for like 2 Hispanic people or anybody in the fields of a slavery movie. Nope. Always a black person. But when it comes to, oh man, we could have a black gay person on a wheelchair as the King of England, they'll do that. They already did do that, by the way. We'll have a black Doctor Who. They already did that, by the way. What else? What else is there? There's a lot. You remember Calypso from the Caribbeans? The one black lady with the dreads? They even did that back in 2007. Nobody was, you know, keeping a major eye on it because it was so subtle. But now that we grew up, now you can't unsee it now that they've been doing this for years. But as soon as they see like, here's a character that is black, well, we have to have a black person on there. Yo, my dude, my guy, we need the perfect black person for this character. And they always do this thing where it's just like, oh, bruh, if we have a black character playing like let's say for instance, perfect example, and I don't know why, but we were supposed to have a Blade movie, but they can't fucking figure that shit out. They got to do this whole thing where it's like, we already have a black person for Blade, and now they're just like, well, we need to have a black director. And I'm like, what? How hard is it to just play some EDM music, have blood spilling out through the fucking water spigots on the walls, and have this man with a shotgun and a katana slicing up fucking vampires? How hard is it? And they just can't do it. They're just like, listen, there's already a black person involved in this film. How do we make it more woke than it already is? They did that with Wakanda Forever, where they were just like, listen, we already got black people in here? How do we increase the woke? How do we increase the woke? And you know what they do? The fucking guy from the one white dude that's that comes to Wakanda, and they always bastardize the fucking white dude every time when they come to Wakanda. They always fuck with him, and they're just like, it's like, you a bar white demon, and I'm like, see, this is the shit I'm talking about. This is the shit, like they couldn't. You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Through both of those Black Panther movies, they've already tried, the Wakandans were already racist to the black people. You know what NetEase, a Chinese company, did with Black Panther? They made Black Panther, and there's not even one line of racism towards white people. Are you fucking serious right now? You mean to tell me that the Chinese people were able to stick with the source material with how Black Panther acts around other people, but as soon as we have Black Panther in the West, they're just like, how do we make white racist jokes? And I'm like, bro, that's not. And I'm like, well, can we do the reverse in the Western films? Can we have a white person like dissing the Wakandan people? Oh no, okay, all right. You got fucking Mark Ruffalo over here trying to bow and shit. Of course that nigga was gonna fucking bow. That's him. At least Ace Ventura 2 made it funny. Yeah, Ace Ventura made it fucking funny. OG Nick Fury's white. Yeah, OG Nick Fury's white. And now that we see it, we're just like, okay, all right. Well, I don't want this anymore. You know what's cool? For most of the parts with Denzel, most of Denzel's parts are just his character. Like the Equalizer, for instance. God damn, bro. The Equalizer, gosh damn, bro. Bro, like Denzel, that famous line between Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington when they were like troops during the I believe the Civil War, and it was like Denzel Washington's character was like, man, you're always gonna be the white man's dog. And then Morgan Freeman just slaps him in the face, and he's just like, we got the white man dying for you right now. He's like, dying for you, fool. He's like, if you wanna, he basically is saying like, if you want to be a fool the rest of your life, then be a fool. And I'm just like, bro, yes, they totally forgot that millions of white people fought for their rights. And I'm just like, okay, so we're just gonna forget about it. All right. Okay. All right, we'll just forget. I'm from the ghetto Jersey. We didn't see color. It was just puff puff pass. Bro, I haven't heard puff puff pass in a long time. I haven't heard that in a long time. I don't smoke anymore, but I remember that shit. I remember that shit vividly. And then I'm hearing all these then I'm hearing all these black people say like, bro, we're growing in numbers in America, and I'm like, no, it's not you guys, it's mostly some other races. And I'm over here just like, besides, he's like, no work is gonna fucking get done if it's predominantly black people in America. I'm sorry, that's gonna be a lot of people not showing up to work on time. Get the fuck out of here, okay? All right, let's calm the fuck down, okay? This whole idea that it's like, bro, we're gonna replace them, and I'm like, not you, not you. It's like, I could argue that DEI actually causes racism. True. Because DEI is basically just like, give handouts to people that I believe are the downtrodden. You know what I mean? It's just, and the funny thing is, you know, the highest earners of DEI is, it's white women. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have the black people out. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, DEI employee. White woman. They hire a white woman every fucking time. Every fucking time. They're just like, bro, we're here for the black people. And I'm just like, cool, awesome, hire me. Sorry, we chose Maggie Mallenhall to be the game director. And I'm like, we hired we hired Ezekiel's sister, Meredith Wonderby, and I'm like, these are some really white people, really white people in the DEI initiative. I'm just like, and these black people are like, bro, they are totally going to help black people. And they pushed those niggas to the side. They pushed everybody to the side and put white women in there. And I'm just like, bro, did they forget that the SPLC like literally hired the KKK to be racist? Did we forget about that? Affluent white female liberal. I haven't heard that. DEI is just racism. It gives the elevated people a false sense of superiority, and gives the now disadvantaged groups bitterness and resentment towards the ones who got unfairly promoted. And this keeps the wheel of racism turning, because let's be honest, people are always going to be racism, but when you do DEI initiatives and ESG scores, you amplify the racism towards 100. I remember life before all this, before DEI started to explode. Things were really good, really fucking good. Not anymore. Not any fucking more. It was fucking great. Now I have to be constantly reminded of what skin color I am. It's great. You do not know the life 15 or 20 years ago. It was fucking heavenly. We said whatever the fuck we want. We made fun of Jews. We made fun of cripples. We made bro, if you had a speech impediment, you were done. You were done. Like, it didn't matter what color you were. It's like, Professor. We did that in the middle of the. We did that in the middle of class. You don't know what you were missing, bro. You don't know what it was. Oh, it was so free. I don't know. We might get it back. We'll get there. I'm 36. I was there. It was amazing, bro. It was amazing. Bro, I was making fun of kids with weird arms. I was going around acting like a fucking T-Rex and shit. Bro, it was crazy, bro. And then we let women into office, and then it got weird. Every fucking time. Anyway, let's get into this. 360 Xbox Live Daves were Wild fucking West, bro. It was fucking crazy. I like how somebody tried to gaslight me into thinking that it back then it was more strict in the voice chat than it is today, and that he was close. He was really close into changing my mind in the prospect of like voice chats and getting in trouble on the voice chats in the Xbox Live. And then he said the most stupid thing I've ever heard. And he said, it's like, actually back in the day, it was more strict on the voice chats than it is today. And I was like, hold the fuck up. What the fuck did you just say? And I was like, get the fuck out. I didn't even want to argue. I was like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck, bro. he tried to get me with fucking like, hey man, it's like, I think you're wrong because this and that. And I was like, actually, you do got a point. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. And then he was like, actually, it was it's like they were stamping down on people saying stuff back in the day more than they are now. And I was like, sorry, what? Sorry, what? I'm 44. I was there before shit got soft. We didn't give a single fuck, bro. I wish I had some sort of like generator to find out which line was said more in voice chats back in the day, and I would be like, which insult was said more back in the day? I guarantee you the top 3 is going to be Beaner, the N-word, and suck my dick. Those were the ones. Beaner, N-word. I think Cracker would be 4, but I heard Beaner more. Or was that me? Was that me? Or was that me? Maybe I'm just self-reporting. Maybe I'm just... Bro, he's self-reporting. He was saying Beaner all the time. But suck my dick was the top one next to like the N-word and all the other ones and Cracker and all that stuff. And bro, it was crazy. It's like Beaner. I don't remember saying Beaner. Yo, he's self-reported. And your mom? Yeah, your mama's so fat. Yo, your mama jokes were up. Your mama jokes were up. I was there, Gandalf. Yeah. Oh, I'm an uncle. I'm definitely an uncle. All right, let's get to this. I'm pretty sure all these notifications are notifications of very loud liberals, so I'm gonna ignore it. Okay. Hey everybody, this is Mr. Hardcore Mode, where nothing's easy. Warriors and wenches, how y'all doing? And God bless. We are here to talk about Remedy. Remedy is responsible for making Control and, of course, Alan Wake. I have played these games a long time now, and I saw Alan Wake 2, and I just didn't like it. Alan Wake 2 did seem kind of lackluster, and I thought it was kind of weird that they changed the female protagonist into a black woman, and I was like, what was the reason for that? Like, they didn't do it like midway through development. They did it at the last second for ESG scores, so there's that. But yeah, wokeism's still here to say. Oh, I'll add one more woke shit that they added to the game, but I'll say it later. Let's talk about what's going on with Remedy Entertainment. Remedy Entertainment's new CEO, Jean-Charles Caduchon, recently said that both Alan Wake and Control deserve to sell more copies than they did. Okay, kind of privileged to say that, but all right. In an interview with the Game Business, Gakshon said, "It's a pity. I think Alan Wake should have sold more. Control should have sold more." Gakshon joined Remedy earlier this year after working on a major EA franchise like Battlefield and FIFA. He believes both games are high-quality titles and much more room to grow. Okay, let me first talk about this. Remedy's, let's state this and then let's go to his next quote. Remedy's main goal is to expand the Alan Wake and Control franchise. There's another game coming out related to Control, I know. Before focusing on new projects. A key part of that strategy is the studio's 2024 partnership with Annapurna Interactive. Well, that would explain why Remedy, the Remedy guy from, you know, the whole Max Payne was wearing a mixtape shirt while saying, "Bro, I'm playing mixtape." And I'm like, of course you're playing mixtape. He's like, you're a CEO playing mixtape. It's a 3-hour game that you can get done really quickly. Of course you're not gonna play you're not gonna play fucking what's it called? You're not gonna play something big and heavy like, let's say, Crimson Desert. You're gonna play a 3-hour game that plays itself. Of course you are. By the way, I kind of find it funny that people are just, oh, I want to work with Annapurna Games. Oh, Annapurna. Oh my gosh, they're so great. And I'm like over here just like, is it the money? It's the fucking money. Ain't that right, Shilla? Anyway, I want to go back to the part where he said it's a pity to think that Alan Wake should have sold more. Control should have sold more. I think it's a really good time for them to look inward and see the overall antithesis of, you know, what they've been building. What have they changed? How do they go back not to their core values? Fuck the values. I don't care about core values. That sounds like PR bullshit. They need to look at what did they bring in the beginning? What made that game, the first Alan Wake, so special? You need to find that, and you need to find that quick. Otherwise, you're going to be going bankrupt, and you'll be joining Bungie and Ubisoft with all that bullshit. You need to find that real quickly. Also, by the way, I have a question. During Alan Wake 2 with the black actress with the FBI, why is it that she said that I'm never gonna have a white man tell me what to do, and then she started fighting this one white dude in some psychological horror like sort of background and shit, and I was like, why the fuck did she just come out of nowhere and be racist for some reason? Like, what is this? By the way, she works with somebody that's white, so what are we doing here? It's like, what are we doing? There during that whole process of Alan Wake 2, she had, you're in the FBI, you have a daughter, you have a lifestyle, you have a roof over your head, and you're over here complaining about what? You do realize I also have a white boss, but I never call him that because he's just my boss. And if he tells me to do something, I do it so I can get paid, right? Okay, I was just trying to figure out why you would say something so retarded. And so a lot of people steered away from Alan Wake 2. You want to know why people steered away from Alan Wake 2? It's because they were too far up their own ass. What was that one moment in Alan Wake 2 where they had a fucking dance off out of nowhere? What the fuck are we doing? Like, it's a perfect, you know what it's like playing Alan Wake now? It's like it's like watching a movie by David Filoni or M. Night Shyamalan. Like, you could just smell the, ask me what it means. Oh, I'm in my own movie. I'm a cameo in my own movie. Ask me what it means. Oh, you know what this means. Ah, yeah. Ah, we're here again with the prequel. It's like, look at us. Oh, look at all the stuff that we remember from the previous stuff, or the previous movie, or the previous game. That's what Alan Wake 2 was. It was smelling its own farts. And that sort of shit really kind of, like, you're gonna get two types of people that see that sort of shit, where there's a fucking random dance off to a psychological horror, where they're gonna be like, ah, this is so funny, and then they'll finish the game and be like, what the fuck was that about? And then there will be other people that are just like, yeah, this is not it. This is not it. I came here for a psychological horror. You're gonna get those two types of people. One that's gonna be late to the party, and the other one that's like, that's stupid. And so what we have right now is Alan Wake, the first one, felt serious. You felt the dread. You really wanted to save your wife. In Alan Wake 2, here's another thing. Why the fuck is Alan Wake 2 not focused on Alan Wake? There we go. Just saying. And Control has a very interesting premise with kind of like Control. It kind of reminds me of SCP. It's not going to be better than SCP, but it has the ability to become close to SCP, and they kind of just make it look generic. Also, the female character can look hotter. Come on now, you could do a little bit more work than that besides giving her fucking cat ears and shit. And so what we pretty much got is 2 games that are mid. Not bad games, mind you. You have 2 mid games. Kind of like 007 First Light right now. Very, very mid games. Is there anything great, like Gravitas, like crazy stuff going on? No. Not really. Not really. Nothing's really moving the needle anywhere. And so that's what they need to figure out right now is what's their primary objective? Is your primary objective to just stay afloat with your company and just, you know, just make mid movies? Or I'm not mid movies. They're actually going to have a TV show here soon. But you're going to make a TV show with your mid games. Is that what you want to do? Because I guarantee you it's going to be just like your mid games. Just like the same people that saw Last of Us Part 2 and they were just like, well, I don't play the games. I just want to see Last of Us Part 2 on the TV show. Guess what happens? People do exactly the same thing that we do. We didn't like the fucking fact that they killed Joel and did that bullshit. You're gonna get the exact same audience, bar for bar, doing the same exact thing. But who knows? Maybe you're starting off with the first Alan Wake with your TV show. I'm not sure, but you have the ability to move around with Remedy right now. So you got to be very careful with your next steps right now. You're not in deep water, but you have the ability to, you have a fork in the road basically. So let's continue with this. The partnership funds the next game, Control, currently known as Control Resonant. Oh wow, Annapurna Games gave you money to to start up a new game? That's so so let me get this straight. Annapurna, which is responsible for not even indie games at this point, not AA games. AA games that are mostly forgettable, except Journey. I still like Journey. So let me get this straight. Annapurna Games out here making indies and AA's, and they're just coming out of nowhere fucking helping Remedy Entertainment that is far larger than Annapurna. Okay. While Annapurna gains rights to create movies, TV shows, and other adaptations based on Alan Wake and Control. Wow, that's it's a $1 billion cut. Oh, okay. God, now we know why he was wearing a mixtape shirt playing mixtape. This man is gobbling the Israeli cock right now of that man's money. Gadoshan explained that the deal aims to help the games reach a bigger audience through different media or deal with Annapurna. Our deal with Annapurna goes into making our games, our franchise, shine further and reach an audience that doesn't exist today. Cross media is going to help us do that, sir. He also said Remedy feels it has only explored part of the creative potential of these franchises so far and wants to grow them. I have 2 things to say. One, maybe Alan Wake should have an ending. You ever considered that? Does anybody like Full Metal Alchemist? You know what I like about Full Metal Alchemist? It has a healthy end. Not like a good ending or a bad ending. It has a healthy end. It has a beginning, a middle, and end. If you got this whole thing where it's just like, yeah, we're just gonna keep Alan Wake going. We're just gonna keep on going. Control, you probably have more room to do some stuff, but with Alan Wake, there should be an ending to Alan Wake. And here's another thing, is that just because you got a whole bunch of money does not mean that it doesn't correlate to you having a good game or a good movie. You can't just be like, yo, I just made 2 mid games. Now it's time to make mid TV shows. What the fuck are we doing? Where's the creative process? Where's the moment where you look at your community and be like, or look at yourselves back in the day and be like, what are we missing? I haven't heard that from him. I'm only hearing, wow, we should get the good shit, but you're not there yet. Now you are being funded by Annapurna, or maybe, no, you've always been funded by Annapurna. Now you're being funded by Annapurna, and this is who you are now. This is who you are now. And it's sad to see somebody who has good IPs here not reading the room. It really does suck. But the boys, what a dumpster fire. That's a good thing as well, is that the boys had a good start for a while, but it doesn't matter if you have a good beginning and middle. If you fuck up the end, the whole shit sucks. That's just how it goes. So if you're just going like, oh man, our first 2 seasons were good, did the ending suck? Yeah, then they're gonna throw away the whole shit. That's what happened to Game of Thrones. That's what happened to The Boys. So if you make a TV show that's mid, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. You're looking for new ways to become bankrupt. Anyway, that's what I got. I loved Sam Lake. It's so disappointing. Yeah. Curious what they have in mind for cross media. They're just gonna put the same shit that they had in their games into a movie, and then that's it. I sense no creative process with whatever they're doing. All they're doing is what is it? Let me see. Our deal with Annapurna goes into making our games, our franchises shine further and reach an audience that doesn't exist today. They're trying to reach more people, so they're just trying to do movies and shit. And their idea, their creative process is just, hey, look at us. We're making a TV show. This is the video game. This is the movie version or the TV version of the game that we got. Look at us. Look at us. And I'm like, that's it? Okay. Good luck. I'm really feeling the creative juices here. You know what I mean? Live action Saga Anderson was white in Quantum Break. Holy shit. No shit. Holy shit. Before Sweet Baby Inc. got involved. Sweet Baby Inc. did get involved. It'll get the Halo treatment for sure. True. Is the music too loud? Let me know. Oh yeah, I need to talk about this. Well, I need to talk about this. I need to talk about this. Okay. Yeah, good. Music's leveled nicely. Okay, good. Good to have you all here, in my opinion anyway. Gotcha. Let me lower it just by a dash. There we go. Okay. All right. How big is this? Okay. Pretty good. Okay, that's good. Okay. Sorry, just setting things up for the next video. How's everybody doing? Good to have you. 20 people in here. Appreciate all the love and support you guys have been giving me. I'm gonna keep this thing rolling. Do I feel like I need to go right now? I'm saving money for... Guys, I haven't given up on Fable 2 yet. I know that my thing keeps on crashing for Fable 2. But what I'm doing is... I'm trying to buy myself a 360 and like fix up the you know, the game to just play it physically. I also realized something when that guy told me like, yo, I got suspended and I got kicked out of a game. This is what I got, and I'm over here like, first of all, you got two different names, so I'm guessing that you made two different accounts. And another thing, is it possible that maybe you weren't suspended because of something you said, but more like you got suspended because you were fucking cheating? I never thought about that. I'm an Xbox guy for almost 20 years now. Glad I never got into Halo. What? I think you would have loved Halo, bro. 100%. The newer one, no. This nigga's making another... God, bro. Bro, that's sad. What the fuck? Well, we'll see. That's barely anything, but we'll see. Okay, back to it. Oh, he's retarded. Gotcha. I mean, it's entirely worth getting into still. Just play Reach through 3 and watch Legends and the other cartoon, all immaculate. Yeah. What's the other one? What's the ODST? Ignore everything else. Fable 2 is great. Fable 2026 needs a major shot of testosterone. Bro, I'll be honest, I don't know what it is, but Fable has a certain artistic design that's just, I don't think I need high fidelity graphics for what they got for Fable. The new Fable that they got, it seems like they're trying to be realistic, and I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it, bro. They're trying to be realistic with Fable when I'm out here being fat and shit going and I'm looking at the new Fable and I'm like, nigga, why does it look like half of the people that I work with? Why does every character look like a fucking intern? What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Good lord. Anyway, let's go into this. Hey everybody, this is Mr. Hardcore Mode, where nothing's easy. Warriors and wenches, how y'all doing? And God bless. I am here to develop a theory with you, and mind you, it's just a theory, but I have a... let me just start off with a theory. I think, and I could be close to being no, I think that IGN, GameSpot, and all these developers, especially IGN, the reason that they think that 7 out of 10 is an average is because I think they're utilizing that in the Metacritic score. 70 is when you're in the yellow and you're not, you're under the green mark. Once you hit 80 in the Metacritic score, that means you're probably going to be good. You're going to be seen throughout like in a positive light. When it comes to these sort of scores, they're not just opinions with IGN. They are very big, and especially IGN has different other journalists like Sex within IGN, where they just follow tat for tat the same score. They'll either go 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. They bought other places so they could pretty much have a monopoly on where the score will be. Now, the reason why the Metacritic score and all this actually matter is because it's all about, just like with the whole thing with Pearl Abyss, where their stock went down, and then it went up because people's perspective, the actual people that bought the game, their perspective, and that sort of thing also hinders with also like the fact that what's the word I'm looking for? We'll look at that later. The fact that there's going to be engagement when you have a higher level, you're going to have more eyes being seen, more people will want to be hired by you, all that sort of stuff. There's a higher likely that developers want to stay with you if they have a higher score. And it's also the reason that you remember the fucking trans loser, not Lena Hafer, but it's Len Hafer. Len Hafer from IGN, a freelance journalist with IGN. He, a freelance reviewer of IGN, who posted on X and deducted a whole point from any future mapped-based games review score. It is called if it is called the Gulf of America. Basically, he said, I'm not gonna say she because it's a trans dude. It's fucking dude. It's a man. It's like, stay away from women. Fucking weirdo. Anyway, moving on. Basically, anybody that has Gulf of America in their game, he will deduct points from their game. Why would they say that? It's just an opinion, right? Does it matter now? Or does it not matter? I firmly believe it does matter, because that's why they use the average score of being a 7 out of 10. That way you can have that balancing effect with the Metacritic. If you're in 70, if you're in 60, like with the whole thing with Pearl Abyss, well, it's not going to look too favorably with your investors and all that sort of stuff. Stock went down, but it's obviously way back up now. But that is what happens. They are using their privilege to decide what is the norm and what is not. So mixtape, even games like Forza with the whole they thems and the what, the hearing aid. Yeah, it's the first game with hearing aid prosthetics and they them pronouns bullshit. Play Gran Turismo, stay away from that game. But it's that sort of stuff where you're just it's the first time that I've seen a 10 out of 10 from any sort of racing game ever. And I'm like, well, what the fuck did this do? And I'm like, oh, cool, there's a giant robot that you can chase. And then I'm just like, wait a minute, they don't give a fuck about this. I've seen what they actually care about. And then I see, lo and behold, they got, fucking gender bullshit and hearing aids and fucking prosthetics and ugly ass fucking characters. And I'm like, okay, gotcha. This is why 007 has such a high score, mostly between all these sort of journalists, where the developers from IO Interactive says, we want to pull away from the toxic James Bond and give it a more modern feel to it. And I'm like, oh, so you want him to be a loser just like you? Okay, gotcha. And this one is a little bit different. This is Mina the Follower. Mina the Follower is probably the only 10 out of 10 that I agree with. The game, the way it feels, and the Castlevania style of this game is the only one where I'm just like, it's 100% a video game. And I'm like, who's this guy? So you're always going to have that one person that's just like, oh my gosh, we found that one gamer. We found that one gamer that's a gamer. Like, there's no bullshit on the game, and it's completely 100% a video game. And I was like, thank God, IGN, you figured it out. You figured it out. You realize that this is like, good job, man. At least it is a video game. Good job. You're figuring it out, bro. You're figuring it out. Like, good job, bro. Like, you're figuring it out that you finally, you need to give good game scores to actual video games, and it's 100% a video game. My thing is, why is it that you'll postpone Marathon? You'll postpone Marathon for a month because Bungie told you so, and then all of a sudden you give it a 9 or a 10 out of 10 to Marathon. So I'm just over here. Why did Bungie say that? To wait a month for a fucking critical review score from Access Media? Oh, so it does matter. That's another reason to be like, oh, so it does actually matter. And also, why are you grading early access games? Why are you doing that? The game's not finished. First impressions, yeah. Why are you grading a game that's on early access? You're just gonna fuck them up. And so we have to keep in mind right now that we need to eliminate the idea that any of what they're doing as a game journalist is just an opinion, because it's not. It seems to me they care more about what game journalists have to say than actual gamers have to say. It mind boggles me that game developers just go, what is it? And then they just fucking go hog wild on IGN's dick. No, IGN is not full of gamers. It's full of fucking losers and feminist boyos. Okay? That's what it is. We found one person that actually likes a video game. Surprise, surprise. And so when I saw this, I was just like, okay, thank you for... It does look like a fun game. Good job. But why did you score 007 so high? I saw 007. It's not that great. It fits with your ideology, that's why. And so now I figured out that this is what I'm gonna stick with this, is that this is what I firmly believe, is that the Metacritic score and all these sort of scores from IGN, they are utilizing, or in a way, if you think about it, isn't this blackmail? This feels like blackmail. It's just like, oh man, you better not have the Gulf of America in your game. Oh man, we'll hold off and not grade your game for a month. We won't do it. Not yet. We won't do it just yet. It's like, hey, what you got for me? What you got for me? And now you have to look at it to the point of like, well, what does IGN get out of it? Well, two things. One, they get a certain amount of credibility, which is crumbling, by the way, quickly, very quickly. And they also get goodie baskets. And goodie baskets could be a whole bunch of things, guys. This is not just a money thing. This is also like merch. This could also be tickets. This could also be like, it could be almost anything. I think the biggest one is access. That means their next game, or whatever the next game for that game developer, they'll be right there in front row seat. You want to know why IGN and IGN mostly, you want to know why IGN is so butthurt over Chinese and South Korean developers? Two things. One, their ideology doesn't mesh with Asian developers' ideology, which means Stellar Blade, hot characters from Where Winds Meet, fucking gacha games with girl with fucking like fucking titties jiggling and stuff. And then there's the second one where there's a language barrier. So they'll just make up lies, either like Black Myth Wukong, or they'll just make up lies with the whole Pearl Abyss shit. That is why. That is why they give them low scores. Why is it that they give low scores to these Asian developers, but for some odd reason, 6 million of them, 6 million players like you show up day one to their fucking video games? Man, what score did IGN give to let's find out. We're gonna find out. Latest one. IGN scores four lately released major Asian video games generally land between 6 to 8 out of 10. Sparked considerable community debate due to differences with other global publications. Where Winds Meet, a game that I'm still playing, 6 out of 10. A great game, by the way. Crimson Desert, 6 out of 10. Black Myth Wukong, 8 out of 10. I don't mind Mina the Follower being a 10 out of 10. It's that mixtape game that's a 10 out of 10 that worries me. At least Mina the Follower has that old school sort of video game vibe to it, and it's made by the same people that made Shovel Knight. Ghost of Yote, an 8 out of 10. Well, I think that one's a little too high, okay? That one's a little too high. But you see where I'm going at, right? You see where I'm digging. You smoking what I'm giving you. And so this is what I firmly believe, is that they are tying their ideology. These are not gamers here. They're a bunch of loser fucking feminist soy boys that are trying to grab whatever credibility that they have by a thread. Why do you think IGN bought all these other sort of journalists? Why do you think they did that? Oh, it's not to be like, oh man, we got you, fam. We'll keep you afloat. No. They bought all these other game journalists, much like, you know, the whole thing with Game Informer and all this stuff. They bought all these game journalists, like websites and stuff, because they're fucking meat shields. It's just like, oh man, well, IGN, well, they're still going through layoffs, by the way. They're still going through layoffs, by the way. Destin left, Destin Ligiri, and so they are looking at the other journalists that they bought and be like, oh well, which one do we let go? Which one we could let go of some of the people that we got, and we could let go of one of the journalist websites. We could do that. That's where we're at right now. This is what I firmly believe in. You know what? I'll say I think, but I firmly believe that this is why they do a 7 out of 10 as an average. Everybody knows what an average is. But between 1 and 10, for anybody, what is considered average? The average number for between 1 and 10. We're all gonna say 5 because it's right in the middle. What do you do when you like sign up or, you know, complete a resume, or not complete a resume, but complete a job application? It's going to be like, do you strongly disagree? Do you, are you, you know, in between, or do you strongly agree? It's going to be right. It's right in there. Everybody knows what 5 out of 10, but they won't do that because if they are way too critical about their games, they'll feel like, oh well, nobody will talk to me, nobody will want to see us, they won't give us special access. That's why they want 7 out of 10. That's why. So 7 out of 10 is a good way for us. It looks stupid. For game developers, they're looking at that and they're just like, oh, okay, so I just need to make sure that I'm making it from 7 out of 10. And okay, gotcha. The journalist sites that died are being bought up and used as AI subversion and information. Fan favorites are looking at Bella for Rogue. What was that last one? But I see what you're saying. There's plenty of diversity, but it all works for a setting like CD Pro, I mean, Cyberpunk 2077. Lots of girls, but no insufferable girl bosses, so we'll see. Oh, yeah, you guys are talking about something else. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. Sorry, I was just looking at chat. Chat is just talking about something else. Anyway, I just wanted to leave it at that. What do you guys think? What's your take on it? It's been burrowing in my mind. I wanted to have this conversation that I think this is why their 7 out of 10 is a 7 out of 10, where it's just like hey, the average, we can get you a butt, because if you say 5 out of 10, then it feels even. But if you say 7 out of 10, it's kind of like saying like, hey man, you need to, hey man, if you want to be better than 7 out of 10, you let us play the game early. You give us something, and we can get you above 7 out of 10. A lot of these Asian developers don't talk to especially game science. They don't want to fucking talk to them over that bullshit that he pulled. And that's why it's literally fucking waving bait to the game developers, being like, hey, I don't know what to tell you, man. So whenever you hear anything from IGN saying, this is why we do 7 out of 10, they're lying. They're lying. Something's up. Anyway, that's what I had to say. Thanks for the video. Trying to advertise Bella Ramsey? You guys are talking about something else. Anyway, I had that one. By the way, this Mina the Hollower is actually a good looking game. Actually a good game. Somebody said this music somehow makes my beer taste better. Feels like I'm in a medieval tavern. You got it right though. Right music. Sorry, I was a little bit preoccupied. I was pooping. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that later. We'll have to put this up in here. Into Fable? Yeah, let's do it. You gotta pull off this video. I'll just chill for a bit. How's everybody doing? We all good? We all good? Man, there's a lot of video games, bro. Bro, we've been eating so good. Like, I still want to play Pathfinder Kingmaker. I still want to play. I just got Chaos Gate Demon Hunters, and then I just got Warhammer 40K Mechanicus. That's something else. Don't worry about that. Total Chaos is good. Subnautica 2 could be better, but it's still a good game. That's a different game. Don't worry. That's a different game. Don't worry about that. Crimson Desert's still a fucking good game. Atomic Heart I want to get back on. Let's see. Conan Exiles. I need to bring this back up. Active Matter. I'm tired of playing the I'm tired of playing the demo. I want the full game. Yeah, I want the full game. Road to Vostok. Oh my god, bro. When's the last one? Gray Zone Warfare. That thing is good, but it's still in early access. Windrose. Mouse PI for Hire replace. Morbid Metal. We haven't even started on that one. Stellar Blade. The reason why I came back to that game is because I added mods. Shut the fuck up. I don't care about marbles. That's something else. Don't worry about that. Alice Madness Returns. I've never played this. You ain't right, man. What the fuck did I do? What the fuck? I've been good at this whole time. What are we talking about? What did I do? I have never played this game. Maybe I should check the list before I go down each one. Norse Oath of Blood. I want to get back to this game, but he had to go to the pool party. I've never heard that term before. I'm waiting for one more. I'm waiting for 1.0.8 because I want them to fix up more of the optimization. I don't think it's quite there yet. I do want to get back to it. I know I just got Shadow of Mordor and all that shit. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, that's my game. I play it. Bro, Alice is based on goth horror comic. It's got a good plot. I might play it. I want Ridrose on my Xbox so bad. I don't see why not. I don't see why they can't put that on there. Jagged Alliance, I want to restart this whole fucking thing and play it. The Modest World Jagged Alliance 3 gets free content update today. Pretty cool. If I was gonna add any mods to Jagged Alliance, hold on. Oh, see? See? They got it the right way. So you just change all the female mercs and just make them hotter? Oh, you can change the male mercs and just make them hotter. Oh my gosh. This is so much better. I'm gonna get this mod later. I see, the reason why I didn't like Jagged Alliance was, well, first off, I was playing something else that was also a turn-based game, but also the fact that some of the mercs, I was just like, bro, you're just collecting the infinity stones of all the races. What are we doing here? And I'm like, if you're gonna collect all the infinity stones of all the races, you might as well make the females hot. I don't care about the men. The men, of course, will be in battle. But if you're gonna add women in battle, you know what I mean? If you're gonna add women in battle, I see Chronal Instinct in there. I wouldn't worry about it. It's got good gameplay. I'll shut up. I'll shut up. I want to go back to this Re-Reckoning. Grounded 2, I can't wait. Why is there an update on older games? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Don't you hate it when you get a random update on like an old game and you can't tell whether or not they're gonna fuck up your mods or not? Like, what are they doing? Painted Grail, The Fall of Babylon. We got to come back to that. The game is completely fixed now. Yeah, Bolt Gun. This is the only Bolt Gun game that I'm gonna play. I'm not gonna play Bolt Gun 2 because if I remember correctly, like right now, Bolt Gun 1 was with Focus Entertainment as the publisher, and I think the next one, let me see. Love this game. Bolt Gun 2. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Devolver Digital. Never touching a Devolver Digital game ever again. You want to know who you're going to play as? You're going to play as a Sister of Battle. That's good. That's great. Two things. Alana Pierce is going to play as the Sister of Battle. I don't like Alana. I hate that bitch. Nice tits, though. But I hate that bitch. Okay? Alright? And two, here's another thing. Who did Devolver Digital work with? Anita Scarsazian. Yeah, we're done. We're done. No, thank you. No, thank you. All EA games are constantly doing 50 KB updates once a month. It's like an anti-piracy thing or something. Yo, bullshit. Take that. I hate that. All 3 EA games I keep installed always have a 50 KB update on the same day, once a month. Scarsazian? I don't, bro, I don't know. She's fucking Iraqi. Whatever. Fucking whatever this. It's not American. Be right back. Okay. Hey everybody, this is Mr. Hardcore Mode, where nothing's easy. Warriors and Witches, how y'all doing? And God bless. We are here to talk about Tim Cain. And he made a video called How the Internet Changed Game Design. Now, Tim Cain is famous for making the Fallout games of yesteryear. I think he's one of the greatest developers out there. Still is. I don't agree with him on everything, but that's not what right wingers do. As long as they make do a good job making games, that's okay. Like, one thing that I do agree with him on is the toxic positivity stuff should be out of gaming completely. He had a whole thing related to a friend that was trying to lose weight, and he was fully for it. Other friends, not so much, trying to pressure him into it. I can understand that completely. Another thing that we'll discuss that I don't agree with him on is something like this. And he said, and he's still a good guy. I just don't agree with what he's saying. Oh, he's got a bard's tail. Nice. This is what he said. This is in relations to why are there so many ugly characters. He said something right here that I was just like, what the fuck are you saying?
So many games use what I would call idealized characters. Some of you call them beautiful, and I'll get to that. But let's call them idealized. You know, it's the buff man and the hourglass-shaped woman with big attributes. Mm-hmm. But let me remind you that for 2 decades, for over 20 years now, there has been a running joke that the protagonists in first-person shooters all look the same. People post this picture or one a lot like it.
I'm going to say something real quick about this. 2 things. 1, did it work? Yes, it did work. A lot of these characters that you're pointing at are highly recognized and highly memorable. Highly memorable characters. It worked. It's what people liked. It's the reason why people still play games to this day. Right now, we are trying your version of what what you consider idealized characters, and it's not working out. A lot of studios are shutting down. It's not working out. So you need to go back to what it was before. I'm gonna go on a slim guess here, and he's not saying race. He's just saying like the manly person. He didn't say race. He's just, but I'm pretty sure he made a joke probably in the past in relations to this. There's a reason why he had this conversation in the past, making a joke about it. Is probably because of the way. There's a reason why. 1, the reason why he made the joke in the past is probably because of their skin color, maybe, possibly, but the biggest one is probably because that they portray, this is what people really like. This is what people idolize, is the manly sort of character, that sort of thing. And so usually when somebody makes a joke about something, there's a little bit of truth in there to why they do it. It's just like, yo man, look at all these, it's the perfect example of female men seeing attractive male dominant characters and going like, oh my god, I can't believe they like. It's like a female seeing a hot woman and they're just like, whatever. What? It's just like that. It's the same thing. You get pissed off and you're just like, oh my god, they're all the fucking same. It's like, why do people steer towards Chris Redfield, Nathan Drake, Shepard? You got Shepard on here, Kratos, the old school Spider-Man. Why do people shift towards a lot of these characters from Gears of War? Why do people you got some of the fucking 141 characters from Call of Duty. It's like Far Cry 3 character right over there. You got Metal Gear Solid Snake, like Solid Snake on here. Of course men want to look like Solid Snake. What are we doing? What? Redfield and Solid Snake? Of course people want to look like fucking these characters. Or even like Arthur Morgan that you have up on here. Of course they want to. Geralt of Rivia that you got here. You know what? You know it's a male-dominated area. it's a male-dominated area, and they see these characters being badass, doing the best they can to, like, you know, do whatever they have to, and we see that and we're like, oh my god, you got Joel up on here. A lot of people like to be Joel. So when you want to know why is it that these characters are so recognizable and easy to, like, remember and cherish? Just because you think that they look the same doesn't mean they look the same to us. You look at this and be like, oh man, they're all the same, masculine, like, white dude. We don't see that. We see Arthur Morgan struggling between what he believes is right or wrong with, you know, and trying to figure out whether or not he's doing the right thing. We got Kratos on a revenge kick, trying to, like, you know, prevent, like, you know, not prevent, but kill the people that betrayed him, the gods. We have, who else do we got here? We have Isaac from Dead Space against all odds, against all these necromorphs, and you're like, what the fuck? You also got the guy from Heavy Rain, Jason. Like I see him and I'm like, oh, that's the guy that yells the names and stuff. We got Nathan Drake, who's the fucking funniest, most charismatic character of all time. We don't look at the skin color like you do. We look at these characters and be like, okay, what has he got to offer? And we see them and we care for them in different ways. And the most predominant one is that, like, oh my gosh, I connect with this character in a sort of positive way. We're not looking at this like we're not looking at this like, oh, I want to, like, you know, I want him to look like me. I want to be like him. Does that make sense? So I don't like the thought of that. I don't like the thought of that at all. But let's get back to what he believes is how the internet changed game design.
Tim, today I want to talk about how the internet changed game design. This is from a question from Padoni Rosso. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. How did your thought process in designing and making games change, or maybe what adaptations did you see in general in making games by the industry around you with the advent of social media and video game streamers? To what extent and how do developers and or publishers keep in mind how streamable are their current projects in development? I'm sure that video game streaming cannot be ignored as a sort of mostly free commercial and promotion circuit for a modern day game. So how do you guys manage this change from what making and selling games was only 10 to 20 years ago? 10 to 20 years, I'm going to go back 45. By the way, when I talk about how it changed the design, it's not just the design of the games. I want to talk about how they were portrayed to the public and also how the public received them. So because of that, I'm not going to talk about multiplayer games because there was a big switch from LAN to client server for a lot of reasons that are beyond the scope of what I want to talk about here.
Right.
But if you want to talk about how design docs changed over that same 45-year time period.
Somebody said he's been too close to the industry and he's been indoctrinated into at least soft Marxism. That's where you'll hear he has to be to even consider too many male protags to be a problem. I agree. I'm pretty sure he's more central, like left leaning. But he's got. But the biggest thing is, even though, let's take the politics out of it, he's got to ask the question why. You know what I mean? Why is it that we're pulled towards these characters? And he's got to realize that mostly men predominantly play video games.
I have a video that I'll link below called Evolution of Video Game Design Docs.
And if he doesn't figure that out, then he's fucking emotionally captured. If it was me, I would try to figure it out. I've already tried to figure out the left. The left are fucking crazy.
If you want to know how I felt technology changed relevant to video games, I have a whole technology evolution video. I'll link that below too. So this is a big question that was asked because there's been a lot of changes of the internet. What we called it was the Usenet, ARPANET, internet, web. Yep. It's just online. It's just the net. And I want to start back in when I started, which is the early 80s. So I'm going to talk about all of the 80s here and part of the early 90s. Back then, you pretty much made what you wanted. I've called it the Wild West. There's a video I made very recently called Carefree to Careful. I'll link it below, where I talk about that. But there wasn't really a net, so everything was done in print. There were guides and even whole walkthroughs printed in magazines and other printed media.
Right.
But most people who played games just figured it out. I would say the majority of people who played games didn't go get walkthroughs or reviews. They saw a game, they bought it, they took it home, they may read the manual while it installed, and then they played it. What was cool about back then was categories of games were really loose, if they were used at all. There were a few terms like role-playing games, sim, 4X, although they didn't even really call it 4X.
There was a lot of narrative games where you were walking around and you were trying to solve stuff, kind of like what's that one pirate monkey game where you would walk around, you know, try to do like a story narrative game. There's also the puzzle games, there's also the side scrollers, there was also the games where it was kind of like RPG, kind of like the whole what's it called, something wagon, where you had to take care of a whole caravan. That was an old school game. You also had those arcade games, you remember The Simpsons and stuff like that. But yeah, I see where he's going with that. You also have to remember back then, when it was the Wild West of like fucking video games, two things happened. There was, not only were the prices lower, but also the fact that we had an area for just us losers. It was just like nobody knew what the hell video games were about. We were in the corner. That's where it was. Also, with the whole thing when it comes to like, also just to let you all know, we still hated certain games even back then in the 80s and 90s. That never changed. You know, and the only way that we could figure out whether or not we disliked a game was if we bought the game and then we played the game and then we hated the game. And of course there's that whole idea where it was like, well, we don't know how to start the game or install the game, so I'll just leave it in the fucking house, but that's a different area. That's a different area entirely. But we're talking about like when it comes to, you know, figuring out whether or not the person will like the game. And I think the reason being is because it's two things. One, things were affordable. Things were really affordable back then. Two, everything was brand new. Things were exciting. Okay? And number three, you guys had an open vacuum of what you wanted to make. There's nobody in your ear like an investor saying, can you make another PUBG game or something like that? Like an extraction shooter? You didn't have any of that. All that extra chatter, by the way, all this extra chatter lately is from investors, shareholders, and CEOs, and you know, people that don't understand video games. The extra chatter from us, from like YouTubers and stuff, that's not an actual thing. Like people we'll talk about this later, but let's continue.
And I just called it like exploration. Most games weren't categorized. You figured out what kind of game it was by looking at the back of the box and looking at the screenshots.
Yep.
That was a long time. That was probably a decade and a half where that's how games were sold, and that's how games, you know, they were sold physically, and people found out about them by word of mouth or looking at the game store.
Word of mouth.
Very rarely printed media.
Yep.
All of that started changing in the late 90s and the 2000s. The internet became insanely popular. It came from being something that I used academically to suddenly all my friends were talking about it. All my friends were using it, and they were very excited about it. And they were like, did you know about email? Yeah, I've been using email for a decade. But now everybody has email, and everyone's
Yeah, very true. By the way, I want you to keep something in mind. Social media is just a way to receive information. Is it the right information? well, that's up to you to figure out on your own. I am going to go on a whim that a lot of gamers that are watching videos are just either trying to get informed or are trying to understand why certain games are the way they are, be they good or bad. It's like whatever resonates with that fucking gamer that wants to come up to me and be like, bro, he's so right, he's so true. That's only up to them. Changing somebody's mind is a little bit more difficult. Like it's hard to change people's mind. It's like, but you can have conversations where it's just like, let's say for instance, we talk about Halo. We like old school Halo. The new Halo sucks. And then you'll have this conversation with somebody saying, no, I think the new Halo's fucking good. And I'm just like, okay, well, what about the old Halo? How do you feel about that one? Well, I really like the old school Halo. And I'm like, well, are you playing a lot of the Halo Infinite, or are you going back and playing the old school Halo? It's like, well, I would rather prefer playing the old school Halo. And I'm like, okay, all right, cool, that's fine. It's like somebody making a video saying new Halo is trash and stuff like that. Of course you're always gonna have that. You're always gonna have that. And a lot of people are gonna be like, bro, he's right, it's fucking true. It's like, but you're gonna have also a lot of people that just go like, well, why is the old school Halo? They're just asking questions as they're making these views. There's a lot of videos that I watch that is pertaining to construction, or trying to make a barn or set up a garden, or why is this lady doing yoga in the middle of a forest with her ass out? I mean, I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to understand, you know what I mean? I'm just a man online trying to understand. So it's like, the person watching these videos will steer towards something that they believe is right, not the other way around, where it's just like, I'm looking for people to change my mind. They'll find that out on their own. Like, for instance, like, you'll hear somebody, you ever watch a video on YouTube? You ever watch a YouTube video that is, this person says 5 things right, and then he says his 6th thing he says is completely wrong, and it destroys the whole video? Where it's just like, yo, it's like, it's like, I think this is wrong, I think this should happen, I think this should happen, but also this is wrong. And then the 5th thing that they say is just something like, it's like, well, I think we should bring slavery back. And I'm like, what the fuck? Turn off this video. What the fuck? You have to understand that there are people that will easily get indoctrinated. Like, for example, Hassan Piker. People came up to Hassan already set in stone, already knowing like they're crazy bullshit. Okay, they don't go up to Hassan and they're just like, oh yeah, Hassan has taught me a new way. They go up to Hassan saying like, bro, he's just like me, for real. Of course I would like to worry about shit that's outside of my country. Of course I would. And so it's all a matter of what the person that's watching the video, what their beliefs system is. They're not going to stick around too long for like, it's like, hey, none of you, what I say is going to resonate with you. And then the people watching it is like, yeah, you're right, I'm going to continue watching the video. That doesn't make any sense. I never made one, but I remember some scripts to make the discussion board. Like, on deployment, the internet showed me BioShock, and I went 360 over a PS3 and never even looked back at a PlayStation. I like 360.
Getting email addresses. The internet got so popular that people could easily find a guide to any game they wanted to play online. And game categories started tightening up. There was adventure games were separated from role-playing games.
Yeah.
What this affected, what I did is I was starting to become
I do miss game guides, but let's be honest, finding everything. If you had a game guide for Crimson Desert, I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody would buy it, but finding that shit on your own is pretty fucking cool.
It was more possible for me to have a say in what I wanted to make. I wasn't making games because other people said, here's what we're making this year, but people were like, hey, what do you want to make? And I put together some engines. So I started making my games more complex, which subsequently made walkthroughs harder to define. I mean, what kind of character did you make? What choices did you make as you were playing? These all affected the walkthroughs. I remember
that's part of the fun.
Somebody asked me what I imagined the walkthrough for Fallout was going to be like, and I'm like, it could be really different. You don't have to go to these places in any particular order.
True.
And depending on what
True.
kind of character you're making, some of them are easier, some of them are harder, and what you do in those locations will be different. So that was fun to me. Then starting, I'm going to say YouTube, which was February 2005.
Great year.
At that point, videos became very easy for people to share. Playthroughs were really easy to make and share and easy to find, which meant people could just watch a game being played.
True.
And decide if that's what a game they wanted to buy. And if they were ever stuck, they could just look up a playthrough. Sometimes a playthrough of just that one spot they were stuck in. This trivialized puzzles because you could just type, Fallout Master How to Kill, and it would just lay it out. There'd be a video. Here's what you do. Are you good at combat? Do this. Do you have this particular armor or weapons? Do this. Or do you have speech? Do this. Do you have...
Well, let's look at it at this way. Let's look at it this way. He's right. He's 100% correct. But we have to look at it in a different way. Now people have a choice whether or not to go online and figure it out for themselves, or they can look up online. By the way, he did mention that there were guides. So if there were guides before that gave you the answer, then what's the difference between having some video? Are you upset that nobody's buying the guides anymore? Or are you upset that people online are helping each other out? I mean, it's their choice whether or not they want to look it up or something like that. That's their choice. I'm okay with choices. A lot of people just want to be like, oh, like I play Blueprints, I want to figure it out myself. But I'm okay with that choice. But I find it kind of awkward that he would mention, yo, we had guides, but now we don't have guides anymore because of YouTube. And I'm just like, well, okay, so technically we always had the answer then. The only difference is that we don't have to pay for guides.
Stealth, do this. Nobody had to figure it out. They could just look it up. So instead, I started focusing my games on what your character could possibly do. And then puzzles relied more on finding the puzzle pieces as doing them in the right order. So, like, the Master was a good example of it. It survives to this day because even if you read what you have to do, you still have to go do all those things. You just don't go in and go, speech 100, Master. So what I liked is it from...
Somebody said, look at all the Dark Souls, etc. videos on builds and strategies. This is a type of guide. It is also a type of guide. And that's the beauty of, like... I mean, you could say whatever you want about like social media. I get it. I understand social media can be a poison, but also the fact that it's just like, it's kind of interesting to find the people say like, bro, I got this whole speed build with my fucking paladin or my sorcerer for Path of Exile 2 or Dark Souls or stuff like that. And that sort of thing is kind of interesting, but you have to realize, like, I think a perfect example of something that was actually well done when it comes to builds, because you bring up a good, interesting thing. Path of Exile 2 is adding a thing within the game where you can make a build, and you no longer have to go on YouTube to find a build. You can go in the game and find builds that somebody made and be like, hey, this is the build you want. These are the skills that you need to get. These are the weapons and items that you need to get. And I think that's fascinating because it doesn't pull you away from the game, like, at all. But also, at the same time, you could just make your own build. So like I understand that like there are some things that don't require options, but I do think that getting information should be an option. Like when it comes to difficulty, I don't think Souls games or Elden Ring should have a difficulty. Fuck you if you think so. But when it comes to you know, whether or not to get news on finding loot within Elden Ring, that's up to you whether or not you want to use YouTube or something or figure out a puzzle.
So my game started going from finding items and using them to exploring all these places, learning about things, and then you could use them, especially not just in combat but in dialogue. Then the 2010s rolled around, and now those walkthroughs and videos online were starting to get replaced with influencers. I don't recall hearing the word influencer before the 2010s. What was interesting about these individuals is more than showing how to play games, they were actually recommending whether you should buy them or not. Differently than journalists. Journalists would frequently say, look at the game, look at all these, look at the features, and it supports this, and it's very similar to this game, and blah, blah.
Incorrect. Incorrect. You're completely wrong. There's a reason that they're called reviews. A review decides whether or not you should buy the game at all. If somebody sees a 6 out of 10, they'll assume the game is bad. Crimson Desert, for example. That's the whole premise of game journalists. That's literally their job. Their job is to hold game developers accountable and be like, well, this is what's in the game. He's like, I don't think this. There was literally a whole thing about IGN saying, hey, Black Myth Wukong's gonna be a bad game because they're misogynistic. There's literally a whole thing about about Stellar Blade is a bad game because it's from a bygone era of toxic, you know, chuds and stuff like that. It's like, I don't think it's a good idea to get this game because it's gooner bait. I go on YouTube and I see things like, it's like, here's what you probably need to before you buy. Here's a before you buy video, and this is what's going to be within the game and stuff like that. Hell, even trailers will tell you whether or not to buy the game. Like, you want to buy 007 First Light, and you're like watching the video and you're just like, okay, young Bond, okay, I don't know about the scar on his face, but let me check out the game. And then you realize that half of the characters have been gender switched or like race switched, and then you see that James Bond is not being completely James Bond. It's like, regardless of what age he is, and you're like, yeah, no thank you. And then guess what the gamers do? They go online and they go like, am I crazy? Am I crazy about this? And then a lot of people, but by the way, a lot of fucking game game influencers, they will keep their fucking shit clean just for people like you, game developers, and also like game journalists sometimes, but mostly game developers, where they'll just be like, I have another video about Dawnwalker, and here's some information on Dawnwalker, and I don't say too many cuss words, and I sound almost like an advertisement, and here's some news about the next coming Owlcat game. And it's like, so you'll be able to have these classes, and then you know what? They are literally baiting themselves. Like, some of them just talk like that, but most of them, they know exactly what they're doing. They have a reputation to run, so they're not going to be like, well, I don't want to change, you know, I'm not going to decide for people how they feel about that. So they're just going to keep their repertoire clean until they play the game. And then once they play the game, they're just like, I'm not too sure this is exactly what I wanted and stuff like that. And that's what they do. That's what they do. So you have two different types of people. You have one person that will just say whatever the fuck they want. That's me. That's me, baby. That's me. I'll say whatever the fuck I want. Nobody likes me. And you know what's great about people that don't have anybody that likes them? They can say whatever the fuck they want. 100%. Especially when you fucking piss me off and change my games for the worst. I'll say whatever the fuck I want. And for some odd reason, you guys will always talk about us. You'll always talk about us, but you're not going to talk about the people that say like, it's like, I don't think it's a bad game, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's really not my wheelhouse, but I could see why somebody might like this game. Ain't nobody gonna give a fuck about your review after saying that dry ass shit. But the one person saying like, this game used to be great, now it's run by a bunch of fat bitches with purple hair. Then Twitter will be like, oh my god, oh my god. And then they say their famous line like, wow. It's like they're so emotional, and I'm like, but I got your fucking attention.
And then they'd finally give it like, we're gonna give it an 8 out of 10 because it was a little buggy, but we liked it. Influencers did something different. They were like, here's a game, I love it, it's for you, and let me show. And then they show high points of it. Game print magazines, by the way, by the 2010s are already dying, and I think this killed them, because why wait for a review when someone you already followed could just tell you about the game and whether or not you should buy it?
Technically, that's just more journalists then, so I don't see what's the problem here. You have a freelance second. By the way, IGN hires a bunch of freelance journalists, by the way, but it's just more journalists. So it's just like one that's not tied to anybody except their own channel, kind of like Shill Up. And then there's people that have a more access media friendly sort of version, like GameSpot, IGN, PC Gamer. So it's just two different types of journalists. And it's okay to be upset like, oh man, we can't do guides on paper anymore. And I'm like, well, okay. I mean, I think you could still do guides. It's just that, you know, it's up to you.
Publishers responded to this by sending copies of the game to influencers and online channels just as much as they did to game journalists. And that kind of changed things because the journalists were at least, I think, sometimes trying to be objective. I don't think there's any objectivity. I mean, influencers themselves go, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, or I'm here for the hardcore.
Let's hear that again. Well, let's hear that again.
And that kind of changed things because the journalists were at least, I think, sometimes trying to be objective.
I like how he tries real hard for them. I think they were sometimes at least trying to be objective, and I was like, he's really trying. He's trying. It's like having a son that has a bad fucking attitude, and it's like, my son is smart and he can kind of be bad. He kind of can have a bad mood sometimes, and then it's just your son beating the shit out of some fucking nerd in class. He's like, he's not a bad boy. He's just trying to find his way. Of course, journalists are compromised, man. And it's fine because maybe he doesn't know this. He's probably busy. But journalists, like actual access media, they're compromised. I'm fine with him not knowing. I expected him to not know. And also the fact that he's probably known them. Probably can know them by name.
I don't think there's any...
Wait a minute. Didn't a fucking bitch named Zoe fucking fuck a guy to get a higher score? Wasn't that like Gamergate 1.0? What the fuck are we talking about? Are you aware of this? You want to know the funny thing about this is that when I looked this up, that Zoe, this journalist, fucked a guy, and said like, hey, it's like, I can give you like this if you do this for me. And then they fucking had sex and shit. And you want to know the funny thing is the fucking like article said like, well, to be fair, the ex-boyfriend that found this out, they weren't actually together at that time. And I'm like, fuck the boyfriend. Did it happen or not? I don't care about their relationship. Did it happen or not? Zoe Quinn. Luke Stevens saying, this is the best game, mixtape, best game, mixtape. If anything, you're getting the same people, but just with their own channel. It's like you got IGN and little baby IGNs everywhere. And then they got me, and Asmongold, and Hypno, and fucking Vera. They all hate us. It's fine by me. No, that was a different person, Woodpit. That was a different person. There was with that same person, Zoe, because Zoe has a track record of fucking men's life up. And that individual, Zoe was like, oh man, he's trying to keep me in his house. And I'm just like, are you sure about that? It's like, if I remember correctly, when it comes to fucking stalkers, they don't give a fuck if they're caught, and they're definitely not gonna kill themselves. And what did Zoe do? She made up a whole bunch of bullshit for her own vanity and shit. Maybe there was a disagreement there, and then she was just like, oh, I don't like him, so I'll fuck up his life. How many of you men ran into that one crazy bitch that was like, oh man, he said one bad thing about me, or he disagreed with me, therefore I'm gonna make up some fucking lies. And then everybody was like, believe all women. And then guess what the man did, since everybody just quickly sided with Zoe? He killed himself. Now I know the family was like, well, it's like, maybe it doesn't matter. You didn't believe him. He's dead. Your son is dead because of you. Yep, I'm gonna be that harsh. His friends, his family were like, well, maybe he didn't. It doesn't matter. He's dead. You didn't believe him then. It doesn't matter. He's gone. He died knowing that you all didn't believe in him. There it is. Live with that shit.
Objectivity. I mean, influencers themselves go, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, or I'm here for the hardcore. So many designers like myself, we frequently thought, well, how is a certain event in the game going to look like when someone's playing it live or recording themselves playing it to put up as a stream? We thought about cinematics, we thought about end bosses, we thought about unusual weapons you could get, and because of that, we wanted it to look really good in video.
Wait. First of all, yes, you do want to make the video look really good, but you almost make it sound like you're trying to put a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you're trying to put flowers on a fucking mud pie or something like that. Like, is the game fun, or are you just trying to add shit to like a trailer or whatever, or to the demo and be like, see, our game is fun. Our game, you can have fun with the game. And I'm like, or are you making games so it's fun? You know what I mean?
It's one reason like particle effects became a big thing, because you just didn't want it to go boom. You wanted a big explosion and wanted it to be pretty and colorful and all these things, especially in a clip, because people will see that on some channel where someone's talking about the game and they see that clip and now they really want to play the game.
Well, that doesn't really matter because Minecraft doesn't look like anything, but you can still create crazy, awesome stuff. RuneScape isn't anything fun to look at, but there's millions of players that like that. What else that doesn't have anything crazy on it? I mean, I could keep on going. Solitaire is not fun to look at, but millions of people play that. So if you're looking for something, you're playing a video game. So why is it that there's two options? So you have an option to have it your way with the explosion, where it's, I guess it's nothing fun to look at. And then there's the big explosion where you're just like, well, that will look good on camera. Well, why did you try to revert back to the previous one? Why? Of course we would like to see the pretty stuff.
So now you're thinking
Roblox looks like shit, and okay.
About your game the way we used to think about interviews. When you went into an interview, you're like, okay, I gotta have some sound bites.
Tetris, yeah.
Ready so that, you know, when when I get quoted, I want to make sure the sound bite's quoted. Now it's like, what part of our game would make good clips for influencers to show? And now we're in the 2020s, and many gamers don't even look to influencers for reviews. They look to influencers to be told how to think about the games. So people don't form opinions from the online video. They're handed an opinion from the online channel they're watching.
I think you're underestimating people. You're underestimating people, because you want to know why? It's because you have to pay for these games. You have to pay cash money for these games. I can go up and down and be like, yo, this game has hot chicks and hot masculine dudes, bro. Okay, that's cool. Yo, this game is not woke. This game is not woke, bro. That's cool. You got like 50 classes in this game. That's pretty cool. This game is $90. Fuck you. Fuck you. I ain't buying no $90 to $100 game. Fuck you. People use their own. You are underestimating people. I do that sometimes too, but here you're making it really. You're underestimating people. They make the decision in full perpetuity. They'll show you the game, and also I've seen people go like, man, guys, look at this game, man, it looks like trash. And you see people saying, I don't know, I'll have to try out the game myself. I understand that there's a lot of people that want to be handed the answer, but there's an overwhelming majority of people that will decide for themselves, especially when money is involved. Especially when money is involved. Does that kind of annoy me about people like Yorch and JDA? You want to know the funny thing about what Yorch and JDA say? Some of the shit that they say is actually kind of true. It's just annoying when it comes out of their mouth. Like, I'll say a certain thing and make it funny and have a little bit of flair to it, but when they say it, they just say like, yeah, it's woke. It's called the woke game. This is the girls. They're ugly. They're mid. Put this game in the trash. You want to know why? It's because they sound. It's coming from people that. They're right, by the way. Like they're pointing at all the ugly chicks in First Light for 007, and I'm like, yeah, they are ugly. It is a woke game, but the way they say it is kind of like nails on a chalkboard. But if Asmongold says it, or if somebody who's an actual fan of 007 says it, and they're just like, what is all this bullshit? Then you're just like, okay. Well, you know, whoever's a fan of what sort of a game.
What this means is I've seen reviews.
Yeah, I like December. December's my boy.
Go from this game has less combat and more puzzles and dialogues for you to interact with than this other game, to this game is stupid and slow paced and made for casuals. I think you should skip it. That's a huge difference in how games are presented, but more people are going for that latter. They're like, I don't have time, there's too many games. Just tell me whether I should buy it. Tell me if it's for me.
I don't think that's happening, and a great number of people are doing that. I honestly don't think so. there's a lot of men that like to play challenging games, and that's for them. And there's also a small casual amount of people that will be okay for, like, you know, more cozy games. But overall, the overwhelming majority of people want a challenge. But let's skip all that. The primary thing that I'm trying to say is most people decide from themselves. Even children don't like to be told to what to fucking do. They'll decide for themselves. Okay, have you ever brought your kid to like any of the Star Wars movies lately, and they watch this game and they watch the Star Wars movie and they're just like, movie's gay? And I'm like, damn kid, damn Daniel. It's like, it's just a bunch of girls and they're fucking talking about their feelings. And I'm like, damn Daniel. Like, I have so much respect for kids these days. They are on the right track.
So they find someone they just like, and then that person's opinion becomes their opinion. This has a positive side. It's easy to find someone who sides with your preference.
Well, is it though? Because when Asmongold talks about these certain games, a lot of people will say true, indicating that they've already thought about this. Oh, and by the way, Asmongold, the biggest streamer out there, will say stuff. Here's the funny thing is, this is not true at all. Because Asmongold did Dragon Age the Veilguard, and he thought that game was trash. Everybody agreed with him, and then he said, I don't know, man. I mean, if it's like, I guess it would be a 7 out of 10. Everybody said 7 out of 10? What the fuck? The fuck? It's like, oh, it's like, what, man? Everybody got mad at me. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like, well, he doesn't know because he's not a Dragon Age fan.
And therefore is a good guide for you
can't bullshit
new games.
kids.
And I've talked about that. That's how I look for game reviewers myself. I look at their reviews for games I already know. If they like the ones I liked and didn't like the ones I didn't like, then I will trust them going forward on reviews of games that...
That's literally what everybody else does. That's literally what everybody else does. I mean, sure, you'll have certain people that look from a different perspective, but you're doing exactly what everybody else does. People come to me, they like what I say, I'm either entertaining or funny, or something like that, and I like the same stuff that they like, or vice versa. That's you literally just destroyed your argument, saying you look for people that agree with you. That's literally what I said. Let's keep going.
I haven't played yet. But the negative to this is more and more people seem to be abdicating their own judgment to that of people they see online. It's like, I don't want to think about it. You tell me what I should think about it.
True, Brisket Clown.
And I see that sometimes on this channel when I get multiple nearly identical comments from people. And I realize they're just quoting an online influencer. Sometimes it's a meme, but more often it's, oh, this influencer person said this thing about this, and now they're just quoting without any attribution in a comment.
Yeah, but that's not the overwhelming
Sometimes even when
majority.
it doesn't apply, which just makes me go, are they understanding why?
That's not the overwhelming majority. I'm pretty sure you didn't look at thousands upon thousands of comments, you know, with confusing stuff where it's just like, oh, they're pretty much, it's like, yes, you'll have certain people where it's just like, tell me whether or not I should like this game. But they are not, like I said, the overwhelming majority. The overwhelming majority are smarter than you think. Now, if we're talking about politics, a lot of them don't know that there's only two genders.
The person said that, but other reactions I see happening in the industry because of this trend is designers have become really obsessed with labeling their game. It's not enough to say I have an RPG. Is it an action RPG? Does it have an open world? Is this going to be controversial if I talk about this topic? They really want to know what the labels are on their games. And so do you guys. You guys ask these questions.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially now, knowing the climate of the games, that's fine. It's like, hey, It's like, hey, let me check out the trailer. I don't know. Some people figured out some of the bullshit in the game through watching the trailer. Like, you know what I get a lot of? I get a lot of people coming up to me saying, bro, you have to see this. So I just get a whole bunch of people that have already have decided, they've already seen certain things, and they already know certain things and have decided for themselves, and then they show me, and they're just like, I know exactly how Mr. Hardcore Mode is gonna react. So anyway,
does it have this content? You know, is it hub and spoke version of a game? As if I can't think of a game that I hated because it was open world versus hub and spoke. I love both of them, and a well-made game can be done in both of them. But this is what a lot of designers think about now when they're putting a game together. They also wonder how influencers will react. If there's an influencer who really likes a lot of the previous games made by you or made at the company you made, you may be putting in a feature and think, is he gonna like this? Is she gonna comment about this nicely?
Stop right there. If a studio is really thinking about that, like, you just introduce them to your first game, then your second game, and then you want to try something different for the third game, don't think about it. Let them try out an alpha version of the third game so you can get a better perspective. Listen, I'm all for people liking my games, but I'm interested in seeing how they feel about the game. I'm okay with that. It's like, oh man, but what if they don't like it? You're not here to see if they like everything about your game that's not finished. You're here to see if it resonates and connects with the player. Yes, you want them to have fun, but you need that knowledge. You need that sort of like you're looking at this from a point, from a emotional perspective. And I don't like that. I don't like how he's looking at this from an emotional perspective when you should be looking at this from an experimental perspective, where it's just like, oh man, we got something cooked up. It's like, I'm interested in seeing how you feel about this. Here, check this game out. Boom. And they'll tell you, like, it's like, damn, you changed the flow of the game. And I'm gonna be like, give me 100%. What do you think? It's like, well, I think it's gonna be good. Are you sure? Is that your final answer? You think that this game, this new one that we changed a few, quality of life features, you think it's going to be resonating with the next amount of people? And it's just like, probably not so much. You might have to change this and this, but keep this because this is really interesting. And then boom, you can have that conversation. I never look at this from a perspective where it's just like, oh man, if this person that I let see the game early doesn't like the game, I'll never fucking give them another shot to check out our games again. And I'm like, really? Like, let's say for instance, like Vampire the Masquerade 1, great game. And then you try out Vampire the Masquerade 2, Bloodlines 2, and they absolutely hate it. A lot of people hated it. And then you look at them going like, well, I'm not gonna give them another invite or anything like that. And I'm like, nigga, if that's your focus, the person that's a fan of your work, and you're just like, well, it's like, so that's the part where I'm just like, your mind's not right on that. You're based on feelings. I'm based on experimentation and logic.
It's probably not a healthy way of designing a game, but I've seen people talk about it. It's gone from how should I make this instead of how do I want to make this. And I don't think that's a good way to make games. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, you should make, I agree with them there. You should, it's like, how do I want to make this? Okay, you should do that. 100%. You should 100% be like, how do I want to make this? There's going to be a lot of things that I want to put in a game that I make. And there's going to be people that are like, it's like, I don't know. Like, if somebody tells me, it's like, I don't think this one's gonna work. And I'm like, well, how can I tweak this to make it work? And then you can rough draft it there. It doesn't have to be like, oh shit, well, it's like I already finished the game, so I'm just gonna bring the game out. It's like, no, there is a sense of when you do these sort of conversations between what's it called, influencers and the game developer, these sort of conversations, and they can get kind of heated between game developer and said influencer. It can, but it's just like it's the interesting part. It's like you're looking at this like, it's like, ah man, well, I need to have 100, and I'm like, I would like 100, but it's, first of all, it's like I'm ready to learn before I'm ready to perfect. You know what I mean?
But many people, gamers and developers alike, they want me to. When they say, Tim, you got to listen to us. You and the other devs aren't listening to me. That's not you telling me to make the game I want to make. That's you telling me to make the game you want to make. And that got to a head when I talked about Fallout and whether it's about capitalism, and everybody told me I'm wrong, that it is about capitalism. I'm like, okay, this game it's not what I intended, but you guys want it to be what you want it to be. So it's weird when you then...
Yeah, well, okay, all right, let's back up. Let's start with the first one.
That's you telling me to make the game you want to make. And that got to a head when I talked about Fallout and whether it's about capitalism, and everybody told me I'm wrong, that it is about capitalism. I'm like, okay, this game it's not what I intended, but you guys want it to be what you want it to be.
I think it's a fascinating thing that you have gamers out here creating a community, trying to divulge and divest and dig themselves deep into your lore, into your world, and they have this sort of philosophy in their head of your game. You know what I say? Nothing. I don't say anything. When Tolkien made Lord of the Rings, did he just go out and say, did he just go up to everybody and say like, bro, this is a Christian book? No, he had one conversation with somebody saying, yeah, it's like I'm a Christian and I do have, Christian values, and I dabbled that into my game a little bit, but he didn't go like, yo, it's a Christian book. But I find it fascinating that people, like the same thing with Warhammer 40k. What did Warhammer 40k came out, and even though Games Workshop wants you to buy all their toys and all their shit, guess what gamers did? They labeled a lot of the lore to Warhammer 40k to like a brotherhood, a certain community of brothers who stand by, destroy the aliens, or there's some people that are pure orcs and we get the humies and all that stuff. You are creating an area, a community with people that believe in certain things within your game. Do not try to correct them. They're already deep into the stuff that you like. Do not fuck it up. Don't touch it. Okay? Don't touch that. That's good. That's good stuff right here. Now back to the part where we're talking about like, well, you guys are telling me what game to make, but I want to make a certain game that I like to make. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. If you want to make the game the way you want to make, that's fine. That's awesome. I think that's an admirable thing to do, to make the game straight from what you want to make. You better make sure that shit sells, okay? You better make sure that shit sells, okay? And also, it's always good to listen to people that say like, hey, actually, I have this sort of idea. Write it down on the side and be like, okay, well, you don't like this, but you like this. Okay, I'll write that down. I'll think about it, but I'll write that down on the side and remember that for later. It's never a moment where it's just like, bro, they out here trying to bring me down and change my game to something else. It's like, no, they're here for the long haul. They're here for the long game. It's like, don't confirm or deny. Exactly. Don't confirm or deny. You can't listen to everyone. Harlan Ellison would just fight people for something else. But yeah, do not create basically do not create problems where there is none, because just look at it like, bro, you got fans, bro. You know what's the difference between you and an indie developer that's not recognized? Is that you got people talking to you about your game and loving your game, and some smaller indie developer can easily be forgotten. So do not take this for granted, Tim. Don't take this for granted. It's like, oh, you got people saying like, oh, but what about all this from the timeline of the lore and stuff like this? It's like, oh man, well, this guy got he got all these people lined up. It's like, hell, some of them want to get their stuff signed by this guy. And so yeah, I just want to end it there because I almost made this an hour. It is a fucking hour. I just turned my video into a fucking Decembro video. But I'll end it here. I disagree and agree on a couple of things, but I firmly disagree that there's a lot to be had for being loved this much by fans. But don't ever think of it as a negative. Think of it as a positive. And even the people that you know, play your stuff as an influencer, the biggest thing that you want to know through influencers is asking them whether or not they actually truly like the game, or are you just here to just fucking collect a check. That's one thing that you want to watch out for. But anyway, that's the video I wanted to do. Dev talking about wait, what? Oh, Subnautica 2? Yeah, I'll talk about that next time. That's a different thing. Y'all take care. That was a good one. Woo! Ooh, my God. I'm not. Wow. Wow. Hold on a second. Let's see. I've fallen out of CDPR. The news is not doing anything for me. Well, let's talk about it for a minute. Let's talk about it. Okay. Fool's Theory. They made the Thaumaturge. Not a bad game, but okay. Okay. Hey everybody, this is Mr. Hardcore Mode, where nothing's easy. Warriors and Witches, how y'all doing? And God bless. We are here to talk about The Witcher 3's new expansion coming out called the Songs of the Past. Now, this one, I believe, is going to be the new expansion to the Wild Hunt that is going to tie on information between, I believe, this game and Witcher 4. I'm kind of worried about the lore. I've already been worried about the lore when I saw Witcher 4. I also don't like the design of Ciri all that much, but we'll see once the end project is there. But the main thing that concerns me with this one, well, first off, let me just say, any more Witcher 3 is fucking great. If it's a new fucking expansive area, brand new area, 100% I'm gonna fucking play it. But the thing that I'm worried about is the person, what's his name? His name is not Cypher, but Maher. I believe his name is Maher, and he's working with the senior lore designer. His name is in Polish, but he's the main person involved with the lore. He's the lore master. He's the senior lore master, and under that is Maher, the person that said, like, you know what would be great? We should just kill all gamers. Yeah, that guy. I believe his name was let me check. Let me find his name. Because there's two individuals. Cyan Maher, that's it, is the prominent franchise and lore designer after called associated with the lore master role for CD Projekt Red. Yeah, he was the one. He says his role is to ensure lore consistency and world building, but the way he acted with the whole, you know, kill all gamers thing, didn't like that at all. Now, there is another person who serves as the senior lore master, which is Marcin Batilda. Probably the Polish guy. Is like, he's a longtime contractor, highly regarded internal expert with deep knowledge of the source material. CD Projekt Red has referenced both Maher and Batilda together as lore experts. Now, are these lore experts without the author? I don't think so. If the author is not there and you're not calling the author, that's a big red flag. That's a gigantic red flag. I don't care what, I'm sorry. I don't care what disputes you had between, I'm pretty sure you didn't have a fucking fist fight with the author of The Witcher. But if I was a person that was making something through him, I would never forget that individual, period. I would always have that person's phone number with me at all times, 100%. I'll even pay the man because I have that much respect for the actual source material. So right now, CD Projekt Red is doing actually pretty fine right now, but they do have a problem with not keeping their mouth shut. That whole thing in regards to DEI and acting like they don't have DEI initiatives. They do. They 100% do. They even did a whole fucking trailer about it, saying like, oh man, we hear you and understand you, all walks of life. And I'm like, why do you have a rainbow shirt on talking about all walks of life? Where's the fucking blood and guts and hot sorcerer women? Why are we talking about this? It's like, oh, we must all come together. And I'm like, bro, you're reading off a teleprompter and your eyes are bug-eyed. What the fuck did you just see? Did you see Epstein Island? And I'm just like, okay, all right. Well, then we see Witcher 4. And then Witcher 4, we see the whole thing with Ciri and how she became a Witcher. And we all know that female Witchers cannot be, Witchers. And my guess is that, well, for some odd, there's going to be a certain thing where it's just like, well, she has to use the fucking blood because she probably either got injured or something like that. This is my guess when it comes to Witcher 4, is that she got injured. She had to go through the trial of the grasses in order to live. She lost her powers. If that's the rule between this expansion, because they did say that the expansion was going to branch between this and Witcher 4. That's what they said. And I'm just asking, are you going to make a stupid, boring story where it's just like, yo, she's gravely wounded, she'll have to go through the trial of the grasses, there's only 1% chance that she'll actually live. Oh, plot armor, she's alive, and now she has Witcher abilities that are far weaker than her abilities, and I guess she will slowly start to get her elven, her ethereal sort of, a greater power later on in the game. If it's that, and it's that fucking simple, bro, I'm gonna be like, wow, that's, man, I could be a lore master. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really trust them on the lore part, but I do trust them to make a fun game. I do. I honestly do. We will see what they do from now on. I think CD Projekt knows right now that they can't fucking make mistakes, especially after 1.0 of Cyberpunk 2077. They can't fuck this up. They got the Unreal Engine that they're working on, and everybody has to figure out how to use the fucking because none of them, there's a lot of new people in CD Projekt Red that don't know how to use the Red engine, so they just hire a bunch of new people trying to figure out the new Unreal Engine. And I'm just like, Unreal Engine 5 or 6 that's coming out, are you serious about that? Unreal Engine 5. Okay, all right, you're gonna have to learn pretty quickly. You're gonna have to learn real quick. And so I'm skeptical. I'm excited for this. Make no mistake, I'm excited for this. But Maher, I'm gonna watch out for that nigga right there. And the fact that you don't want to see the author anymore, red flag. Red fucking flag. I'm gonna tell you right now, okay? If I was gonna do a Harry Potter game, I want that bitch J.K. Rowling right there, and I'm gonna be like, J.K. Rowling, what should I do about this, and this? And then there she is right there, this, and this. And so I am very particular with how these things go. Now, if that whole thing happens where she has to use the Trial of the Grasses to live, it's still fucking stupid and it shouldn't happen. But the one thing that I want to watch out for is if they allow more Witcheresses out there, because one of the characters in the tech demo called the Witcher lady, Ciri, a Witcheress. I've never heard anybody call any person a Witcheress. The only way that you would call somebody a Witcheress is unless there is a multitude of Witcheresses. You know what I mean? You don't just go around just going like, listen. If it's like going to an alien planet as the first black guy, and then they immediately call me the nigga. It's just like I'm going to an alien planet and they go oh, and they call me a nigga, and I'm like, where the fuck did you get that term from? Where the hell did that term come from? And I'm like, how the fuck? It's like you would have to make a certain. You would have to be around to make a certain word like that. She would have to be called Witcher, not Witcheress. but it makes it seem like, oh man, they've been here for a while or something. Get the fuck out of here, bro. So I'm still excited about this because I like Geralt more than Ciri, to be honest. I don't know why. I mean, Ciri, she's great and all. Cool. Make her hotter though. You know what? You don't need to make her hotter. I'll let the mods do it. But we will see. We will see. Yeah, dead franchise if they do that though. I'm actually mostly fine with Ciri. I'm fine with Ciri too, but it's just like I prefer Geralt. You know what I mean? And I also prefer the author to take care of it, not these developers, because the developers will always put certain, you know, their own spin on how Geralt is with certain people around. Like, you didn't know this, but Geralt really likes, Geralt really thinks that women are, there's a lot of pretty base stuff that Geralt says within the books that they change in Wild Hunt. And they're just like, oh, women go to school to do their academics. They're not here to get fucking married. And I'm just like, actually, yeah, women like to get fucking married. You think women like to fucking live alone? It's like in this period, getting their academics up would not only help their family, it would also help her in the long term if she ever gets married. I don't know why Geralt said that shit. It's like, and then that other time when he faced off against a duelist who was a woman, and then she was like, it's like, oh, you're gonna say something because he's like, you never thought I could do it because I'm a woman. And then I'd be like, Geralt, just say, it's like I focus on my like, just say like, yes, I did, but you did pretty well, good job. No, he didn't say that. He just acted like a woman can perform just like anybody else. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, Geralt. Shut the fuck up. He could have said something very realistic and sweet to that woman that he faced in combat, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it. He could have easily said, yes, I did think you were going to be weak in combat. He's like, because you're a woman and women aren't in combat, but you actually did pretty well. Keep it up. I think a woman should protect herself. He's like out here in the, you know, in Skellige. I believe it was in Skellige or something like that. Or was it in Tucson? I think it was Skellige. But yeah, that would have been great if they added a splice. Don't fucking give her a fucking big head and be like, so yeah, we live in strange times. Shut the fuck up, Geralt. But no, I'll give this game a try. I'll try it out. I think it would be a great game, and I'm so interested in seeing how the lore shit is my biggest concern. We'll see. I think this is a great thing for them to do. I think Witcher should continue to be, you know, around Witchers, and yeah, it's pretty good. Also, I miss Triss and Yennefer. By the way, let's not you can hate on CD Projekt Red all you want, but they still make fucking baddies, bro. 100%. Let's be honest, okay? We'll see. We'll see from here on. But they've been up to date on the hotties lately, okay? Pan Am, my baby, Pan Am. But we'll see. We'll see. Pan Am, my baby. If it's just Ciri, I agree, it's mostly fine. Yeah, I'm okay with hearing about Ciri's voice. It's just that I prefer Geralt, but I could still roll with it. To me, it's funny when people say Sapkowski didn't want to follow tropes and wanted to break up with fantasy conventional characters. My response is, and you think he wouldn't be against your leftism? It's like, yeah, of course he would be against it. It's like, it's his book. It's like, bro, I can't, bro. I have to say this, bro. I can't. Oh, that's something else. Don't worry about that. I can't for the life of me. I cannot for the life of me make a game that is tied to an author and fuck it up. You know what I mean? I can't do it. Now, if they passed away, I'll do the best I can with what I got. But I'm not having no third-party person to be like, well, I know, like, you're doing a Lord of the Rings game. Well, I'm Tolkien's, you know, second to, you know, great grandson or something. It's like I'm not here to talk to you. I'm just here to read the books, read some of his letters, see his mannerisms, watch a couple of his articles, and then I'll make the video game that way. That's it. I'm sorry, can't talk to you. I need to be within the manosphere of Lord of the Rings. I don't need no son, no great grandson. I need just the author. And then that's what I would do. And then this whole idea like, oh, they don't talk to me anymore. By the way, I forgot to add, this is the second group that do not want to contact the author. Netflix and CD Projekt Red. I don't know what we're doing, boss. The director was chased out of for bullying. No way a building of soy is going to make a good Witcher. I don't think so either. Yennefer is slightly hotter, but also more annoying. I like how people are just like, Triss is a bad influence because of what she did. And I'm like, you don't think Yennefer... You think Yennefer has a clean slate? You sure about that? How about we just chalk it up to both of them are crazy, both of them are hot, pick your poison. That's it. That's it. Rangs, give me all there. Hold on. One nigga to find him on that. Nigga to find give it all them rings, nigga, rings, give it all them rings. Everybody runs over, get up out of them rings, nigga, right? One nigga to roll them all and one nigga to find them. One nigga to bring them all in darkness and bind them. I said one nigga to rule them all and one nigga to find them. One nigga to bring them all in darkness and bind them. I said this is so fucking retarded. Yennefer consistently lying and hiding shit from me. I don't like it. I just go Yen because it feels more canon. True. Triss comes across as more honest. She has done some crazy stuff to get with Geralt, especially trying to twist his memories and stuff like that. But it's just like, but she's hot though. You know what I mean? Yennefer's done crazy shit too, but she's hot though. Now, if you came up to me and says, Triss did crazy stuff, well, it's like, well, I'm pretty sure she didn't mean it. And then you see a picture of Triss from the Netflix series and you're like, yeah, lock her up. Lock her up. Lock her up. I guess trashing Lotor was worth it as long as now we get that song that exists. Bro, love this song. Love this song. Yenna or Miranda from Mass Effect. Both of the women are sterile. I fucking hate you. Both of these women are sterile. Yennefer. That's very hard. And I said that like this. I said Yennefer right here. This could be interchangeable. it might have to be Miranda, because Yennefer threw me out of a fucking thing, you know what I mean? She was like, I told her, it's like, yeah, I'm fucking Triss, and I like that. I like that little redhead, and she blew me out of the fucking stratosphere. I was like, you know what I mean? Anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the love and support. I will see you guys here soon. I plan on playing some video games tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. That's not good. We're nationalists here on the right, Mr. Hardcore. I mean, I'm sorry. Miranda all day, okay. Wait, she has bigger tits though. Okay. We'll be here all day, guys. All right, we'll be here all day trying to discover the perfect, crazy black-haired bitch. We're gonna end it here. Thanks so much for joining me, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Have a good one.